So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition on my Fiesta ST180 series. Now in today's episode I'm actually going to be talking about my opinions on the Gfb diverter valve. So when you see the stock diverter valve for the ST180, which is just sitting right here. So the stock diverter valve is actually allows a lot of venting off the boost at low RPM, and essentially what the Gfb valve does is it actually keeps hold of the boost at low RPM, which means that you've got much better acceleration through the gears, and you've got much sharper throttle response as well. It's quite straightforward to change. I'm not going to do an installation video because that's already been covered by Sparkplug Steve and Car Rambles, etc. They've got good videos on that. I'm just going to follow what they did. But what I do want to do is give you my subjective opinion on how this valve actually feels. Now, I've got the ITG intake on my car and it does make the Darth Vader noise at low RPM and part throttle, and that is essentially the boost being vented. And this Gfb, the diverter valve, should actually stop that venting. So in theory I should get much better throttle response through the gears as I accelerate, and that's something that I'll be checking. I'm not going to connect it up to ForScan and look at boost pressures or anything. I don't know if that's something that I should do really. So it's not necessarily going to be scientific, it's going to be more subjective. Remember, this car is tuned to 235 horsepower and 390 newton meters of torque, and I do think putting on this diverter valve will certainly mean that if the stock one is about to fail or will fail in the future, I'm hopefully going to prevent that from occurring. So I'm almost like doing some preventative maintenance here by fitting this. So I'm really looking forward to that. It only cost £108, so it's not very expensive, and it should be relatively straightforward to fit as well. So I'm going to get on to fitting it, and then we'll go for a drive and see what difference it makes. So ladies and gentlemen, I've been driving the car for about 5 days now to get a good feel of what this diverter valve actually does, and I am very impressed. The way that it holds boost in between gears and the throttle response means that as soon as you put your foot down, it's instant. There's no waiting for the boost to come on, there's no lag. It's literally as soon as you put your foot down, you're in that kind of full boost, making a high boost. And of course what that's meaning is, in real world terms, there's the same roads that I'm driving before the diverter valve, I can now take faster. The car feels faster, and in a set of corners, as you're accelerating in between corners, changing up and down gears, again the car feels tremendously faster. It feels faster and it holds the boost. That throttle response is instant. Really good. I've got absolutely no complaints about the diverter valve. Some people say that it doesn't make a difference. It might be because they don't have an intercooler, because I know that can induce a little bit of turbo lag, and obviously I've got an intercooler as well, but it did make a difference. I could noticeably feel the difference the diverter valve makes in terms of holding the boost, and it's a very worthwhile modification to do. I would say that along with the rear motor mount and the quick shifter, it's one of those kind of bang for your buck modifications, and of course along with the white line anti-roll bar. And one of the things that was quite characteristic after I had the remap done to the car was what I would call a surge in the revs or the boost. So you're at about 3000 RPM, you put your foot down and it would kind of go like this, and it would all of a sudden kind of surge. But that's gone. It's smoothed out the way that the car makes the boost and makes the throttle. It's just tremendously quick. Very good acceleration. And of course the noise, the psht noise is more pronounced, and that Darth Vader noise is gone down. So still there, the Darth Vader noise, but it's very faint. You can hardly hear it. So when you put your foot down in between gears, it's smooth, it's progressive, and it's strong. So it holds very strong. It holds the kind of boost better. It's strong throughout the rev range, which translates into a quicker car. And I am very impressed by the diverter valve. I think it's well worth fitting. Actually, in reality, it didn't take me too long to do. A couple of the bolts are fiddly, but nothing too much to worry about. in about 12 months, just have a look at that piston to see if it's still lubricated, and have a look at the O-rings and stuff as well. But yeah, very big difference, very worthwhile modification, if only just for the fact that now you know that you're not losing or venting any of the boost pressure. It's always on demand, always on tap for you to kind of blast through the gears and actually really utilize the map that the car is able to offer.